Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Davo from BenLaCmon Esports, bringing you another 1v1 StarCraft 2 cast today. Excellent. You'll notice that I'm doing something a little bit different throughout this cast, and that is right, I'm not actually casting any Master League or Grandmasters League players today, or at least not for this game. These are two Platinum players that I have found on Reddit that have put a game up on there. They are both from the US servers, and they're both fairly high Platinum. And this game concerns quite a lot of cheese, apparently. So let's see how this goes down. I'm really looking forward to actually seeing what kind of cheese goes where and whatnot. BenLaCmon does actually look like he's going to be going for an early expand against his Zerg opponent right now, which is very customary against quite a lot of Zerg opponents, especially lately. But I think Metalopolis is probably one of the harder maps to do it, as if you're going to go this way, that's a huge distance. If you're going to go this way, it's a really big distance as well. What a lot of people do like to do is kind of do a big arch, so it goes round like this, from the ramp to the geyser. But hey, we'll see what happens. As I say, you know, I don't usually cast Platinum level games, but I just thought it would be really fun. And that is some funky stuff right there. He must have won a lot of games in order to get that. Good times. Okay. And Craigus is doing his thing as well, and also it does look like he'll be taking an expansion fairly soon as well. Yep, there goes down the expansion too, which of course is fairly important again. Now, as I said, this game was labelled with cheese in mind, so let's see what kind of cheese we get. It does look like perhaps this Protoss is actually going to slam down a pylon, this probe being particularly more pesky than usual. Around the time that you see the spawning pool go down... Oh god, there's a drone back there. Around the time that you see a spawning pool go down, it's around the time you generally want to run as a probe. Craig is pulling off quite a lot of his drones off the line in order to chase that probe, but then putting them straight back on afterwards. Down goes the pool, and down goes a pylon as well. It does look like BenLaCmon is blocking Craigus in his own base. Meanwhile, we do have a drone in the back of BenLaCmon's base. Now this could turn into a proxy hatch. I haven't actually watched this game yet. So everything's on the table. Craig is pulling off a lot of drones in order to deal with this. A photon cannon going down as well, and this is really bad news for Craigus right now. You've got to admit, not good times at all. And it does look like perhaps Craigus is going to be sticking down another hatchery, or perhaps not. Nope, maybe not. I thought he was going to put a hatchery down there in the bottom location of the map. These photon cannons will start to go to town on this Overlord, so using some intense Overlord micro, Craigus will have to get away, but also using some amazing building micro, Craigus will also have to think massively about the proxy hatchery he has just put in his opponent's base. Usually, when somebody cheeses you, you're like, oh, you bugger, and you try and defend it, and you do whatever you can to try and defend it, and more often than not, unfortunately, if you're not an amazing player like myself, sorry, I'm saying I'm not an amazing player, just to clarify there, then you'll fail against cheese, depending on which kind of cheese it is. This sort of cheese is pretty soft. It's a bit like your Baby Bell, because, I mean, well, BenLaCmon's blocked himself out of Craigus' base right now. Craigus could get some roaches out and probably kill this off pretty quickly. But one thing that you can't kill off pretty quickly is a proxy hatchery, especially a proxy hatchery when your opponent, the Protoss that is, the blue Protoss, come on in the left-hand side, doesn't actually have that much stuff due to his early expansion. Now, I like BenLaCmon's logic in blocking his opponent in the base, therefore defending his expansion quite nicely, quite efficiently, but I don't think he was banking on this, and soon he's going to see the creep, and there's the creep just coming up. He's gonna see it in a minute and realise what is going on. Let's just watch the cam for a second there to see when he realises it. This should be pretty fun to watch, because there is quite a lot of purple coming out from the bottom of the fog of war there, as we can see just in the south area of BenLaCmon's base. So as I say, it'll be pretty interesting. And oh, there's still creep there. Oh, holy hell, there's some creep. So what's going on? Building a photon cannon. Excellent. The best way to defend yourself against a proxy hatchery where has roaches coming out is to get a photon cannon, apparently. Now he is pulling probes off the line as well. These probes kind of trapping themselves, putting themselves in this little room. More roaches on the way from Kraigus right now as well. The spine crawler could get moved forward and start poking away at the hatchery. This is a pretty precarious situation to be in if you are BenLaCmon, or BenLaCannon, more like. Pylons going down now for Kraigus as well. This Zealot is actually going to be doing quite a lot of DPS, but with some micro, that roach could have been saved, and probably this roach too. Another spine crawler going down right now as well. And more larvae on the way from Kraigus right now as well. So it does look like he will be getting quite a lot more roaches out. And when I said that you could break out with roaches, this isn't particularly what I meant. Unfortunately for BenLaCmon, it does look like he might be losing this game. That pylon going down right now as well. These roaches, I don't think they're actually going to be... Yeah, well, it doesn't matter anyway, because the photon cannon goes down straight away. Roaches generally pretty good against most early game Protoss units, due to the fact that they're so armoured and they do quite a lot of damage. But here we have the warp gates coming out from BenLaCmon right now, and it does look like maybe he'll be able to hold this off. Really, depending on how much stuff. He needs to get some probes on gas though, so he can afford those stalkers, because Zealots are quite easily defeated by roaches, especially if your opponent micros. But unfortunately, Kraigus is not microing all that much. It does actually look like Kraigus is going to take this game with his proxy hatch, which is pretty fun. More gateways going down on the low ground. It does look like these gateways up here will get depowered by Kraigus's roach force as well at the moment, and even a creep tumor as well, making his roaches slightly quicker off the mark inside BenLaCmon's base. I mean, fair enough. BenLaCmon cheesed him, so Kraigus is perfectly open to land, you know. The safest of all cheeses, a proxy hatch in his opponent's main. Quite a lot of stalkers now, but I don't think it's really enough to counter roaches, this many roaches so easily like this. Unfortunately, stalkers do have a slightly longer range than roaches, which is something to think about. But all the same, I mean, Kraigus' economy is winning it at the moment for him in quite a big way. After all, roaches are relatively cheap compared to stalkers, that is, anyway. This spine crawler going to town, poking away, doing everything he can. Boom! Down goes that gateway. Instantly the spine crawler starts working on another one. Look at the reach that spine crawler has. It is incredible. And more roaches trying to bust out of Kmon's base right now. It's not often that you have to bust out of your opponent's base, but it happens sometimes, I guess. Back here at Kraigus' base, we kind of have very little going on, just focusing mainly on his proxy hatch that has gone down, and a cannon going down on the high ground right now as well for BenLaCmon, which will help him. But there are quite a lot of roaches doing their business, and when I say doing their business, I don't mean anything dodgy by that. I just mean literally killing everything in sight that is in BenLaCmon's base. And when they take this pylon down, of course, these cannons on the high ground won't actually be able to function. But you know what? Kraigus just goes nah and takes down the cannons instead of taking down the pylons. And BenLaCmon definitely looks like he's in quite a lot of trouble right now. Kraigus has a lot of minerals he could inject and make more roaches. But you know what? I think this amount of roaches is sufficient. I think he can win the game with this. And it does look like that is actually what he's going to attempt to do. I mean, he doesn't really have to attempt to do it, does he? It does actually just look like he is going to win with this many roaches, just straight up. Good game, well played from BenLaCmon. Always the gentleman. After all, he did kind of cheese his opponent. And there he goes, he left the game. See, that's nice. Usually these kind of cheese fests lead into some sort of massive amount of BM, but not today. BenLaCmon being an absolute gent, and Kraigus being inventive with his proxy hatch. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for these Plat guys for putting that up on Reddit. And I will talk to you guys next time. Thanks a lot. See you next time. Bye-bye. Enjoy playing StarCraft. Enjoy playing StarCraft. Goodbye. Yay.